And Melissa and Ashley are here with me to support your questions and provide answers, help you get logged in, help you upload data, and so forth. As we are seeing in the webinar chat, you can share if you have data in, you can share that data with me at that email address. And just to kind of jump to that real quick, hang on. So that would be under the share feature here. So if you have logged in and you have data, you can share it right there just by putting in my email address, james@intellectustatistics.com. All right. And okay. So let's get started here. And let's make this a little bit smaller, rephrase the screens. Okay. So the presentation kind of assumes no knowledge at all. So I guess I want to know, because I don't want to bore you all, would it be valuable for you as the participant to go over levels of measurement and what an IV, DV, and covariate are? So if you would share with that your response to that, do you know what nominal, ordinal, and interval or scale are, or dependent variables, or should we review that? So if you put those answers into the Q&A, that'd be great. And this will kind of tailor the presentation a bit to what we have. Okay, there's a chat here. Okay. Yep, and then type those responses into the Q&A. Great. All right. And folks are still trickling in, but it's okay. And Melissa, you just let me know if there are some folks that are wanting some of that.
There are some that want a review. So
okay, got it. Okay. All right. So Greg, I'm sorry, there are a few folks that we want to bring everybody along here. But I'll go through quickly though. All right. So okay, so let's just get to it. So the agenda for the day is just kind of understand the basics, IV, DV, covariate, levels of measurement, create an Intellectus account. Okay, hopefully everyone's got instructions on how to do that. If you don't, let Melissa or Ashley know. Setting up the data, we'll just take it from an Excel file and show you how to upload it. If you don't have data, I have an example data set built into the tool that you can upload it and play with, all right, and follow along. And if you have your own data, you can upload it and follow along. We're going to then conduct some analyses, show you how to download those results, and then final Q&A. So that's kind of the broad overview of what we're going to be doing. And let's just talk about levels of measurement. The levels of measurement are important, I guess, in its own sake, but they're particularly important in this tool because some analyses only allow certain types of levels of measurement. Like for a binary logistic regression, you must have a nominal dichotomous variable. So let's just talk about these three things. So I'm talking about all quantitative data as one of three things. Nominal, it's Latin for name only, and it's just really the names of things. Male, female, Republican, Democrat, Independent, just naming things. There's no order to be had. Ordinal is ordered data, as the icon kind of suggests. And like a horse race, you can come in first, second, third, but there's no equal intervals between the first and the second horse and the second and the third. So it's ordered, but it's not equal intervals. Scale, and I'm lumping together interval and ratio, are ordered data, A, and they have equal intervals in between, like birthday or years, days of the month, right? One day to the next is the same interval as, the fifth day to the sixth day. So roughly that's what those three things are. And we'll be mostly using nominal and scale, right? Just going to reiterate that. So nominal, Fruit, apples, oranges, bananas. No, nothing's more or less. They're just names of things. Ordinal, activity level is an example. Sedentary, moderately active, very active. Again, the amount of activity between sedentary and moderately active may be very different than the activity or energy expelled between moderate activity and very active. So ordinal is just ordered, nominal name only. Scale, again, equal intervals like in a temperature, 10 to 20 degrees. It's the same difference as between 20 and 30 degrees. Okay. So those are levels of measurement. Okay, so let's just get to IV/DV covariate. These are also important because we need to know what is our outcome variable, what are our predictive variables or independent variables. So roughly speaking, independent variables are things that the researcher really controls. Okay, so if I say, well, is there differences on emotional intelligence by gender? Well, the gender is what the researcher is saying he or she wants to find differences in that outcome variable by gender. Okay, so the independent variable is typically selected by the researcher. The dependent variable or the outcome variable or the criterion variable, so there's lots of names for these things. These are things that depend upon the respondent. So is there differences or are there differences in emotional intelligence by gender? The outcome variable, what depends upon the participants, is their own emotional intelligence, or running time. Are there differences in running a mile by males or females? So that's going to be the outcome variable, time, is going to be dependent upon those participants. And here's just another example. I can have energy level, or I guess calories, by different fruits in this case. The banana, apple, orange is my independent variable. My outcome variable, dependent upon the fruit, is the whatever, the grams of protein or grams of sugar or things of that sort. Covariates are typically variables that you just want to kind of neutralize the effect of. So, for example, if I was looking to see if there were differences in, 1 minute mile times by gender, but then I noticed, all the males are, 60, all the females are 30. Hey, maybe it's not gender that we're looking at, but age. So if I wanted to examine differences on runtime, my dependent variable, time, by my independent variable, gender, but I want to control or neutralize the effect of age would be my covariate. So the covariates are things that you want that could influence the outcome variable, like your age could influence your runtime, but I'm not interested in that. So I want to control for that variable. And that's what a covariate is. Okay. So now's our time to log into Intellectus. And you can all do that if you'd like. Melissa, do you have any particular instructions for folks?
Just the one here, I can put it back in 1 second. You all should have received an email also with the instructions and the link to log in.
And if you haven't, let us know.
And the link is in the chat as well.
And while you're getting logged in, I'll just talk about 3 very common issues. One is what test to conduct. That's always a problem of, I have this data, I have these questions, but I don't know which analysis. So figuring out which test to conduct is one issue. And we have a decision tree to help get you that correct test. How to conduct it, we've looked to streamline the tool so it's easy to conduct. And then what does the output mean? We actually interpret things in plain English prose to kind of square away not wrestling with this uninterpreted raw output. So load up your data. So let's just get to it. So is anyone not logged in? And if you want, you could just watch too, but is anyone not logged in that wants to be logged in? Let
And
us
you
know.
can put that in the Q&A. If you have questions about logging in, just put it in the Q&A.
Right, and then they'll help you get logged in. So for those that are logged in or just watching, I can go to an example data set. Make this a titch bigger. So I can go to example data set, and I think I have a master class here. So I'm go a little bit slower here. So I'm under choose example data set. Okay. And then I am selecting under the name, the master class. Okay. And then just go ahead and create project with data set. And then here's a data set which has, some demographics, age, favorite movie, favorite fruit, and then, hours slept, GPA pre and post. Oh, okay. So, and somebody shared something with me. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, so let's go back for a second. Okay, so here's a data set. I have some variables. So all of these ERs are probably some subscale, but this could be a good data set. EEs, probably another subscale. So we have EEs, ERs, and then we have some other variables here. Okay, this kind of looks duplicate. Okay, and that's it. So, Alex, can we unmute Alex? Is that possible? Or no?
Yeah.
Melissa?
Alex, can you just raise your hand, please? Or here we go. I think this is you. Alex, is this your data set?
Hello, Alex. If not, I'm happy to, use my data set.
I mean,
Hi, Alex.
hello, sir.
How are you today?
I'm good by His grace, and you say?
Oh man, are you good? All right. And where are you? In New Zealand?
No, I'm in South Africa.
Where are you?
South Africa.
In South Africa. Okay. Wrong
Yes.
continent. Okay, but right continent, but wrong guess. All right. So terrific. So here's your data set. And then what are the ERs? What's the name of that variable?
Which one?
The
Oh,
E.
the ER.
Yes, sir. Well, what is that construct there?
Let me quickly. As hold on, please. We have entitled. I'm coming. There.
And I'm going to ask you the same thing about the EEs. If you don't know the data,
Yeah, I'm going to give you right now.
I'm happy
The
to move
system
on.
is slow.
If you know the data, because I'm going to be asking other questions.
Okay, the EE is entitled expectation.
Okay, so expectations. Okay, and ER?
Yes, is the ER is entitled responsibility.
Got it. And what is your research? One more question. And then with regard to these, are any of these items reverse coded?
No.
So each of these have a scoring sheet, right? Expectation,
Yes.
responsibility. Are any of them asked in reverse where we have to flip over the answer or no? Or they just, we're just kind of adding them all up and that's it?
Yeah, you find the average by adding them up.
Fine, no problem. I can do that. And then what is the research question? Does responsibility predict expectation, or what's the research question?
The first one was to see the level of academic entitlement among the students.
So descriptive,
So the
okay.
extent of academic entitlement.
Yep, that's fine.
And then the second one is to see whether there's a correlation between student academic entitlement and their demographic variables.
Okay. Okay. And what's
And
the third
then
one?
the last one was to see whether there's any statistical significant differences between the demographic subgroups and the
And
entitled.
expectations or responsibility or both?
Yes.
Okay,
If
so
there's any
it sounds like descriptive
significant differences.
statistics. It sounds like descriptives and then looking at expectation responsibilities by demographics, correct?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I think that's fine. So, okay. So it's very common that we want to create a composite score here. So we want to change all of these ERs into numbers so we can sum them up. So we can go to recode multiple.
Okay.
Okay. And then we're going to go to the ER variables. Okay. All right. So we want to get the ER variables. Okay. So we want to get the ER variables, and then really we want to change them to scale. Okay. We want them to be a number. And then here is the strongly disagree, disagree, somewhat agree. Great. So we want to just change these into 1 to 7. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I was trying to
No problem.
code them, but I'm not done.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to turn those all into 1 to 7, and then we can create a composite score, okay, for EE. Let's just set our expectations. Expectations. Okay, or expectation. Okay, and really just get the mean composite of those EEs, okay? So EE. So right. So 1. And for you, just for those of you that will be doing this later, you can just watch the video. But essentially, we did 2 things here. So one is that we recoded multiple variables from the label, okay, into, oh, wait a second, EE. Oh, EE, there's one more that's 16 there. So we need to recode.
Yeah.
We need to recode EE.
Yeah, something
I missed that.
Here.
Okay, so scale. So we'll just do it again. So we're going to change that, and we're going to again change this to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Sorry, I missed that one. Okay. And then again, we're going to go to variable calculator, where we have expectations, mean composite, and then again, somehow I missed that 16. Okay, so E expectations. Okay. 6. Okay, great. And let's just get rid of that first one, since we know that that was wrong. Okay. And by the way, so this is just duplicate 2, right? These things are duplicate?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just get clean. I like clean data. Okay. Okay. And then the other thing we want to do is do the ER, right? So so under the ER variables, it seems like those were, you already have those in numbers. So great. So here we could just, create a composite score. Okay. Let's just call it responsibility. Okay. And then the mean composite of the ERs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. Does that seem right?
Yes, there
Okay,
are
great.
13.
13 of them. Got it. Okay. So that's it. So, everyone just data management is just part of the deal. So now let's just get to the analyses. So once we do the data management, things get very simple. So let's just go to the analyses. Descriptives. So we can look at, gender. Well, it should seem like you wanted those gender and age over here. Race, student status, years of study, SES, and then our two variables of interest. All right. So that's kind of our demographics. So here's an APA table. Here's our frequency in percent of gender, age, and so forth. So, most people are female, most people are 24 or under, and so forth. And there's a little description about that. For the expectations of responsibility, you want to make sure that the mins and maxes are right. So the min is not less than 1, the max is not over 7. And you can see, so a 4 would be right in the middle. So these guys are kind of right in the middle, kind of 4, a little bit of more expectations and more responsibility, but you can see what's happening here, that you have huge sample size, and that's what's going on. So that kind of covers the descriptives on the demographics, and then the demographics on the research variables. And then you can just start drilling into relationships. So I can, do a correlation between, responsibility and expectations. That might be something, just to kind of see what's going on there, since those are our research variables. And there is a significant positive correlation between that, basically saying that as expectations goes up, responsibility goes up, or as responsibility goes up, goes up. So that's a positive relationship. And then I can correlate these things with a Spearman with some of those other demographic variables, like age, ordinal, with responsibility, okay? Since that's ordinal, we have to use the Spearman, all right? And then years of study. And we kind of just peek at what that looks like. So here, the important part is age with expectation, and there is a positive relationship. So as age increases, expectations increase. Positive relationship between age and responsibility. As age goes up, responsibility goes up. And age and years of study, also positive, okay? As age goes up, years of study goes up. And then you can drill into some of these other things, like, let's just do a basic, t-test. Oops, hang on. Do a basic t-test, for example, looking at, and you can do this with the other ones too, but I'll take expectations by, gender. You select the test, pair this independent sample t-test, okay? Put in my outcome variable, dependent variable is expectations, independent is gender. And you can look at the assumptions. You can see that there is a significant difference. So females have higher expectations than males, okay? You can look at that for, I guess, the other one too, for responsibility by gender. And here, again, statistically significant. Females have higher responsibility ratings than do males. So that's a lot of work right there, right? So we've done descriptives on everything. We relate, right? Descriptives on everything. We've related the responsibility and expectations. We started to relate some of the demographics, specifically age and years of study, with expectations and responsibility. And then we did some t-tests to see if there were differences on expectations by gender Yes, females have higher expectations. And differences on responsibility by gender. Yes, that was significant too. And I think that covers lots of things, if not everything. What do you think about that, Alex?
I think it's great.
We didn't do SES. We didn't do SES and race. So let's just do that real quick.
Okay.
So let's just make sure that that's all cool. So I'm going to dump that. All right. Delete. So, and then put that in the same variable. So we have, okay. And then the other variable that we want is the SES. SES is really, this is really region though, right? Urban, rural.
Okay.
So let's just change that. So this more region than SES. Or do you want, or is urban is a higher SES than rural? Do you want to leave that or not? Is region a proxy for SES?
Sorry, come again.
Is region, urban and rural, is that synonymous for you with socioeconomic status? Or are they different?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it then. So you can do
Yeah.
the same thing. The one difference with race is that we're gonna be doing an ANOVA. So so we're gonna go to analysis, and we're gonna go to ANOVA, and we're gonna go to ANOVA, and I'll just do one of them. Expectations by race. And again, you can look over the assumptions. You can also put the assumptions into ChatGPT to help simplify what you're doing here. So there is a statistically significant ANOVA there. Here's what's going on. You can see Indians have higher expectations than Africans and whites. And then the post hoc tests, which are expectations for Africans was smaller than Indians. Expectations of whites was smaller than Indians, but no difference between whites and Africans. Okay.
That's awesome.
So, okay. So for, all right. And then the other thing to do would be to download the document. And in that downloaded document, here are the things that we did. And then here are the results of our demographics, correlation. And then correlations, again, you're only going to want a few of these rows. And then looking at the t-tests by, expectations by gender. Okay. Responsibility by gender. And then we have the ANOVA. And I just want to scoot on down a little bit here. Then we have APA style references for all the in-text citations.
Oh, okay.
And then we have a curated glossary of the terms and symbols for each of the tests that were conducted for descriptives, the correlations, and so forth. So, so that's one kind of quick sample. Alex, thank you for sharing it. We appreciate that.
Thank you very
Do you have any
much.
quick questions before I let you go?
I just wanted to find out, is it possible to use this system or tool for, let's say, factor analysis?
Absolutely. So,
Oh,
so the tool does have everything from descriptives all the way through two types of factor analysis. There's confirmatory factor analysis, CFA, and then there's exploratory factor analysis here, all with the same simplicity of putting the variables in, basically clicking just a few buttons, and then you're kind of there. So yes, it has EFAs, mediation, SEM, and so forth. All the other non-parametric. So everyone, I invite you to kind of look through those analyses to see if in fact, they make sense to you.
Thank you very much. That's
You're
great.
welcome. Thank you for sharing your project. And I'll just
God bless you, sir.
blessings to you.
Okay, I have a question from Nathan about ordinal logistic regression. Nathan, I'm gonna unmute you. If you have your data and you want to share it, we can run that. Do you have that available?
Yeah, I have it here. I'm looking for a version I can share here.
Okay.
All right. Yes.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Pretty interesting stuff here.
Good. Good. Where are you from, Nathan?
I am here in Texas, but I'm at the University of Illinois.
Got it. Which one?
Urbana-Champaign.
Got it.
So I have the file as a Stata file. Is that
You can upload a Stata file. So you go to upload data file, and then
Okay.
you just go to Stata.
okay? Let's see here.
And you're a faculty or student?
I'm faculty there.
Right on.
Okay, found it.
Right on. Good.
See the most recent one. Okay, let's try this one. So this was survey data looking at a national sample, US national sample around workplace, different items around workplace advancement, opportunities.
Okay.
All of them are scaled on I believe a 6-point Likert scale.
Okay.
Did it go, or am I still waiting for it?
Did you share it?
Data cleaning wizard. Oh, it popped up a data.
You want to exit out of that? That's fine.
Okay.
And then what you want to do is go back to the projects
Okay, I see.
and then click share and then type in my email address,
Okay.
which is just James at, and then intellectostatistics.com.
Projects. Share. Okay. Forgot that last step there. James at Intellectus.
Intellectostatistics.com. And then I'll refresh and get there.
Sure.
Okay, right on. So here's how that works. So I can see under notifications and then accept. Okay. And then here it is. I'm going to take over the project for the time being. Okay, so here's our data. So, okay. All right, so lots of variables. Have you done the, oops, sorry.
Yeah, we've already produced the study, but there's some additional white papers we're looking to put out.
Okay,
So this data has already all been coded and
okay, so you have your composite scores?
I do. I didn't. Yes, they're not for all of them. We were looking at individual items for some of them, but you see there at the end, we have. Or let me open it up on my end too, so I can work with you here. Let me look at the composite scores.
I see.
So there are. There's a couple composites.
Yeah, let's work with those. Or
Okay.
you had a question about ordinal regression, is that
I was,
correct?
yeah, trying to, so there's two things that I'd like to do with some of the additional analysis, or most of the analysis we did on this was pretty basic, and I'm trying to push it a little bit farther, looking at kind of comparing groups by race on we can say this work sat. There's a variable called work satisfaction, I think.
Yep.
Composite work sat comp, maybe.
Okay.
Let's see, work sat.
And what's the research question or the new research questions you want to kind of explore here with regard to
So
satisfaction?
yeah, so basically, if,
opportunity.
yeah, just to basically explore the features here on the platform, you know, are there differences in the composite work satisfaction by race?
Got it. Okay, so all righty. So
Let me see.
so let's make sure work satisfaction is a scale variable, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
there's a number of them in there.
So it gives me an opportunity to use the decision tree to say, okay, work satisfaction is scale. Race, I'm assuming, has got several races. So do you know what test to use or not yet?
So on the ordinal data,
Well, this is not ordinal though, right?
the composite is not. The composite is interval.
Right. So the work satisfaction is interval or scale, I'll say, and then race is nominal.
Yes. So then we did some ANOVAs there.
Good job.
Uh-huh.
Because I was going to exemplify it, but that's the right test. So
Yeah.
So you just want to go to, but let me exemplify that.
Yeah,
So
sure.
exploring differences by groups is what we're talking about. And we have one dependent variable, which is, you know, workplace satisfaction. You didn't mention any covariates. And I'm doing, hey, wait a second. What did I do here? I went one too many here. No, covariates, go back one more. Do I have more than one dependent variable? No, I just have workplace satisfaction, no covariates. Do I have more than one IV? Nope. So, and then does your ID have more than IV have more than 2 levels? Yeah,
Yes.
this has got more, yes.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the ANOVA. Great.
Okay.
So then when you go to the ANOVA, we just grab workplace satisfaction, work
So
sat.
it's work sat comp.
Got it. Work sat. Let me see here. Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Here it is.
Okay. And another one with huge sample sizes. Great. You know, by the way, let me just say something about that. So there's 2 sample size problems. One is too small, one is too big. The too small sample is you don't have enough power. So if there are really differences on work satisfaction by race, you may not detect that if it was too small. Right. You have the opposite problem, which is you have a huge sample, and the problem there is almost everything is statistically significant. Right. What we're going to care about is that effect size, right? Because if work satisfaction is, you know, out of a 6-point scale, 3.3 versus 3.4, that might be statistically significant, but it doesn't make a hill of beans difference. Right. Okay, so just heads up, so effect sizes are going to be important for you to look at. All right. So, and now we're going to look at race. So it should be an R. Race ethnicity?
Yeah, there. That's it. Yep.
Okay. I should mention too for other folks that there's options to be had. We set a lot of default options, like of what kind of assumption test to use. You know, we're using Shapiro, Wilk, and Levine test, but know that there's other options to be had there. Okay. And by the way, there's also almost in every dialog box, data management, plots, and analyses, quick 3-minute video tutorial, how to do it. So just to know that that's there as well. Okay. So, so for the ANOVA, tip bigger. Okay, so there's assumptions with that. So for the research case, you know, you can use the accurate interpretation, the tables, the plots, but this is templatized. So for the research cases, that has been published with Turnitin right there. So you need to put that phrase, you need to reword it or put it into chat to rephrase it, okay? So just heads up on that, that we publish that with Turnitin, so students aren't just sticking it in there.
Mhm.
All right. So, by the way, for the use case of teaching, do we have any teachers here that are teaching stats at all?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you can use show them how to run an ANOVA. You got to look at normality and homogeneity of variance and outliers before you get to the results. You can show them that this is how you do in ANOVA, but then you can also just present the raw output
Cool.
and have them practice with those example data sets I showed earlier. Have them practice an ANOVA once, ANOVA twice, ANOVA 3 times. They're going to get how to do an ANOVA.
And in this way, with the raw output, then they'll have to interpret it in their own words.
Write it up themselves,
Yeah.
and then save the teacher some time there, Nathan, by vetting your own write-up and saying, oh, a significant assumption. I thought that was good. No, that means it's violated. So they can do some of that self-checking themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have normality, homogeneity of variance, outlier analysis, all without asking, by the way. All right. Then we have an APA table. There are significant differences on work SAC comp by race. Here's that thing I was talking about, which is they look pretty darn similar, but let's find out. So, they're all hovering around, right? And this is a significant ANOVA.
Yeah.
All right. Look at that effect size. Tiny.
Yeah.
So that's going to be your key that, hey, it was significant, yippee skippy. That effect size is the importance of that difference is basically zero.
Right. And that's on the overall ANOVA, right? So if we're looking at contrasts on specific.
Fair enough. What do we have here? So, I mean, we can read through this, right?
Okay.
White non-Hispanics, 4.2 was larger than black
non-Hispanics.
Good. 3.94, okay, and so forth. And to your point, it's a good point. So to get the effect size of that comparison, for example, just say white non-Hispanic, non-Hispanic with a black non-Hispanic. So to do that, I could just run a quick t-test. What I would do is this. I'd run an independent sample t-test, kind of a workaround for that effect size for that particular guy.
Okay.
I would look at worksat comp by race. I can't do it because I didn't. It only wants the dichotomous variable. Let me give you that workaround. Sorry. Under race. Let me see here. Edit variables. That's not what I want to do. Let me find race. You got a pretty good sized data set here, so
race should be
okay. So you have. Let me just do that one.
And then so I have two, and then I have two.
Did I pass by it?
Based on it, it's at the beginning.
Beginning. Okay.
Yeah. Let me see. It is. I guess maybe the 15th variable down.
Okay. Let me just get there.
17th variable down or over.
Yep. All right. So that workaround. So if you want to run, wish I had to do that.
There it is.
So the workaround for that is this. I'm going to go to manage. I'm going to, those are the two that I really are interested in. Okay, so I'm going to delete these. All right, and then I'm going to take those two and put it in a new variable. All right, that's the workaround.
Okay.
So now when I want that effect, it's a little bit of a pain in the neck, but we're getting there. Because typically, well, I've never been asked what are the effect sizes for each of those comparisons.
Mhm. Yeah.
But that's, it's worth asking since I picked on you over here with nothing. Least I could do is do that workaround and
Yeah.
see what that looks like. So we'll see what
Mhm.
that looks like. So work sat comp. Bye. Now I have a dichotomous race variable. Okay. And calculate. All right, so assumptions. Okay, so now that effect size is 0.26, much stronger. So nice job to point that out. At the individual paired levels, I can see, yes, it's still statistically significant still, and report an appropriate effect size.
Yeah.
We might even start, because we can calculate those.
Mhm.
And effect sizes are important, particularly with large samples. So I think, Melissa, that's a great thing for Marlon for our programmer to say, hey, gosh, with ANOVAs, once we do post hocs,
Mhm.
what are the effect sizes there? I think
Yeah.
totally worthwhile.
Yeah, that'd be, or I could even pull that back into Stata and look at that directly. But this is great how it sets it up in this template and kind of walks you through the different things you need to be addressing in the paper.
Yep. You're not fussing with tables. You're not fussing with assumptions. They're all built in.
Now, with this, since it's survey data, are you able to account for the different parameters of the stratification, the primary sampling units, the clustering? Does this allow you to do that, or is it more just straight?
Well, I mean, I could do something like redo that independent t-test. Well, maybe not. I mean, I can split files and things of that sort. Is that what you're referring to or not?
Well, but so like when I run this through Stata, I set up the code with that it identifies the stratification variable, the primary sampling unit, the clustering variable, and the weight, the final weights that were calculated.
We don't have weighting in there, and Melissa, that would be another great thing, because I know with large samples you do want to weight it that you have more white non-Hispanics than black non-Hispanics, for example, or whatever they like right here, right? You have twice as many.
Okay. I mean that's fine. I know that there's a lot that's offered here already though, which is really useful. And this was with a interval dependent variable. Now, if I was looking at just one of the specific items in that work set scale, one of them is I plan to leave my current company within the next year. So that one is on a 6-point Likert scale.
Yeah.
And there is where I was looking at more of the ordinal logistic regression.
So you can do well, you can do ordinal regression. We could talk about that. First of all, ordinal regressions are much tougher to interpret than not, right? Than the scale. That's one piece of it. So, and we can do that. We'll change it. So the other thing is that, there's a paper on statisticsolutions.com that talks about should Likert type be ordinal or scale.
Right.
And if I recall correctly, you could check me, that it seemed like if there were a 3 or 4 point scale, that you should keep it ordinal. But if you had 5, 6, 7, didn't make any difference to keep it as an interval level variable.
And that's part of the reason why we selected, I constructed it with 6 points. Now, you saw there in the initial analysis that one of the major assumptions of looking at it on a interval scale is the normality assumption. So when that's violated, then that might create issues in review.
So I mean, there's a couple ways but let's make sure that we turn into ordinal and then see what that looks like.
Okay.
And you're asking a slightly different question with, are you saying race predicting that ordinal variable? Is that correct?
Or yeah, does race predict that outcome?
Okay, so we can do that.
Mhm.
But let me just say with this one item,
Mhm.
before we jump to ordinal, which is tougher, even for me to get my head around, but I think get my head around it. But we can go to transformation,
Mhm.
and we can grab that variable. So what does that variable plan to leave? Which one is that?
Work set C. Work set C. It should be after these.
Okay,
Or actually, no, it should be at the top. Sorry about that.
no, that's fine.
So farther up.
Yeah. No, work. Boy, it'd be nice to have these alphabetical too.
Yeah. So work set C.
Work set comp
Yeah, it'll be
down.
before work set comp.
Okay. This is work set comp. Work.
These are in alphabetical, huh?
These are
Oh.
not in alphabetical because ages after this, but I'm wondering if is it current? Do you have it listed as an ordinal variable? That's probably what's going on here.
Yeah,
So that's the problem. So let's just go to
okay.
so and we'll keep it as ordinal and we'll keep it as scale too. So
Okay.
that's the issue. What am I doing here? Go back here.
It should, yeah, and it should be a single letter column.
Well, let me pass it.
No, passing. Let's keep going.
You have a lot of variables.
Yeah.
I recommend to other folks, I mean, you may need all these variables, no problem. But for folks that are pulling other data sets and you don't need half of these variables, dump them.
Yeah.
You don't have to scroll through, just for your own sake.
Yeah.
Works
So
at
there we go.
ABC.
AM. Yep.
Okay, so first of all, you have it as ordinal. So let's keep it, it's nominal rather.
Yeah.
So let's get that going first. So
Yeah.
strongly disagree, moderate, slightly agree, okay, great. So let's move that into ordinal. It truly is ordinal.
So when I uploaded it, did it read it in as nominal? Is that what?
So all of them so any alphanumeric gets, good point. Any alphanumeric gets read in as nominal.
Okay.
So it's not discerning whether or not, oh, that looks like a, ordinal scale. So let's just put that, so that's right. So you have to go when you upload
Just verify.
alphanumeric, unless if it's a number, it's going to come in as scale. If it's alphanumeric in any way, shape, or form,
I see.
it's not ordinal, as nominal.
Right.
So let's change that to nominal 1.
And I guess I could upload. Does it give you the option to upload without the labels in? Because that's probably what happened here.
No, but I'll give you a quick one for that. So what you can do is, let's just say work set A and B. You can go to recode multiple. You can go to work set A and B. Okay, all the other ones. Change them all to ordinal if you'd like. If you're going to be summing these things, you're going to need it to be scale, which kind of reinforces that point that these larger strongly disagree to strongly agree, you're going to need to change them into a scale variable. But okay.
Yep.
So continue, strongly, blah, 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 slightly moderate. So this is, I can put those right in there. So I'm just changing these into ordinal. Okay. All right. So yes, you have to go back and do that. Sorry.
I think there was
Stayed as ordinal, by the way.
sorry.
Was it coded as ordinal inst data?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean, Melissa, maybe we can look at when we import stuff to retain that level of measurement, but okay.
Yeah.
The story. All right, so let's just go to scale for a second. So I'm going to put this into another variable. Strongly disagree. 1, 2, 3, 6. I'm going to put that as a new variable. So, okay. So let's get to, so under, let's just look at, so I'm going to go to transformation. I'm going to look at worksat, no, not this, worksat C scale and see what's going on here. So that does not look terrific.
Right. Doesn't look normal.
Does not look normal. Okay. So, but fortunately, we can play with some of these transformations to
Oh, cool.
see, you can see the impact of that transformation. Nothing really looks like it's hunky-dory yet. Cube.
Yeah. It looks
So,
like
okay.
zero.
So that's one problem.
Mhm.
All right. So let's not do that transformation.
Yeah.
Let's use it as, let's just see what happens, because we're gonna do 3 things that are gonna give us a picture about worksat C by race. So
Okay.
let's just do the ANOVA on worksat C. Okay, worksat C by race. It was rate this one, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's one thing. So, so the assumptions violated here. So a few things. One, the assumptions violated. I'll
Yeah.
send you if you send us your email address,
Mhm.
or Melissa has your email address.
Yep, we have it.
I'll send you a reference that over 50, you can assume normality.
Okay.
Now, some people say, why even assess normality if you're going to wave your hand and say it doesn't matter? But
Yeah.
I'll share the reference with you. That's one thing. The other thing is that since that is violated, the Kruskal-Wallis, which does not have that assumption,
Mhm.
is already built in.
Okay.
And you can see that looks pretty darn straight right there. Again, significant. And then here is the critical differences, so you can see white non-Hispanic versus black non-Hispanic is different. Okay, and so forth. All right. The other thing I wanted to share real quick is that, so Melissa, we need the effect size in the raw output for the Kruskal-Wallis, because in these cases, again, where you have large sample sizes, we need that effect size to say, does it make a bit of difference, even though statistically significant, is it an important difference? So that will be coming.
Okay.
So we have the ANOVA worksat C by race. We violated some assumptions. That's tough. That's a tough one too. Nothing crazy going on there.
There were some variables that did not violate the assumption of normal data, but I don't have them off the top of my.
No, that's fine. But again, I think you can wave your hand over the normality with such a huge sample. All
Yeah.
right. And then you can see for the ANOVA, they're pretty darn close to each other. And then do that workaround for that post hoc. But the good news is we streamlined the t-test where it only allows for a binary independent variable, but it's bad if I wanted to get, in your case, race with 4 and then just
Right.
select those 2. So it's good it helps people streamline it, but not in your case.
Okay.
For the reasons that we just did. Okay, let's do the regression using ordinal.
Okay.
Okay, with worksat C. Okay, by race. And okay. And let me just think for 2 seconds here. So yeah, I mean, in my brain, I would have kept it as continuous, and I
Mhm.
would have dealt with the ANOVA and the Kruskal-Wallis
Okay.
because I could explain it in some way. We're gonna see what this looks like. So, but this is the procedure.
Mhm.
Did I run ordinal? Or yeah, I read ordinal logistic is under regressions. Likely ratio was not statistically significant. Okay. So here's the assumptions, one assumption, okay.
Proportional odds too, which is nice.
Yep. Was not significant.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Significant coefficients. So this is what's going on here. You got lots of intercepts, and then this looks familiar. So that's statistically significant. So the good thing about this tool for this test, because you have kind of a neophyte around ordinal regression,
Mhm.
that it will have some sense of explanation here. So let's
Okay.
get to it. Okay, so the coefficient for Black non-Hispanic category of race was significant, suggesting that observing Black non-Hispanic category of race ethnicity would increase the odds of observing a hotter category of work sat by 45% relative to white non-Hispanics.
Yep.
That's the interpretation.
Yeah.
That's not easy to spit out.
Yeah. And I see that represented in the table below there. So the default is the odds ratio that's reported, which is good.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So that is our explanation of that.
Yeah.
Again, when it comes to ordinal regression, even binary regression, and multinomial, they're tough to explain.
Yep. Yep.
For me, at least, because I just don't do it all the time. And for
Yeah.
other folks that, hey, you know what? This is the test I want, but I have to be able to explain it, All right. Final questions here before I scoot along?
What anything really are you able to do charts or marginal plots with this type of data?
So
Mhm.
thank you for that question.
Mhm.
So we do have a plotting feature.
Right.
I don't know about marginal plus. What was the first one you said? I'm sorry.
I'm just looking at the chart options here that you have up. Yep. Because what I'd like to do also then is to print out a visual of that odds ratio contrast between the two race groups. But I guess I could just copy the table into like an Excel and produce it that way.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what would be helpful with regard to worksat C and these different group. So am I in? So here, if I have worksat C by my race, wait a second.
Race ethnicity is the
It's only making it ordinal though. Why? Why is that just ordinal? Why could I not have a nominal? Huh.
yeah. What about with a box plot?
Yeah, no, I'm sure the box, yeah, it shows gonna let me do that. That's, yeah. That's something, but I frankly, that's probably more descriptive than
yeah, it's not the
going to
chart
give.
of the odds ratio. Okay. Okay.
And then you can just add it to your document like that. Okay. All right. And then there's others there. Happy to
This is great. Thanks for walking through that with me.
well, my pleasure, and thanks for your great questions, sincerely. And send any when you play with this tool, you'll have it for Melissa. How long does everybody have it for? A week
For a
or?
week, through that link that I sent everyone, it's going to be active through the 9th. So
Okay.
you can get in and play with it if you'd like.
So, and if you need an extension, let us know. Happy to extend it. If you have suggestions to say, hey, you know what, we really need that plot, or hey, gosh, it'd be great to have that plot that can accept nominal. Maybe that was the anyway, I won't fuss around with too much, but anyway, those are the plots that are currently here. I'll say quickly too, you know, we've talked a lot about, you know, or demonstrated kind of uploading data, or that you can upload data from different files, or you choose an example data set to teach from. Let me just give a quick shout to two things. One is that we have 60 lessons. So to avoid students from buying textbooks, the tool can go behind your single sign-on. The lessons can go behind your learning management system. Competency-based grades go to gradebooks. So you can see those. And we also have more advanced lessons coming down the pike, like SEM and CFA, which are beautifully done. So just to know there's lots of lessons to be had. The other quick shout out is that we have a qualitative tool with the same simplicity. And I guess I'll just highlight one quick thing with it. So here is an interview, and you can code, you know, manually or have AI help you, but we have an AI coding. So if you have 300 pages of transcripts, you can do the AI coding inductive without knowing any codes or any excerpts. It will excerpt for you, then create a code name and code description. And then the researcher can now look through a truncated, I mean, presumably you're going to read it, reread it, and understand your data. But you could also, without having a blank sheet of paper in front of you, have a truncated set of excerpts to look at, and to evaluate those codes and descriptions. So just to know that that is a function. And here is a description of an AI code that you can edit the name, edit the description, and then evaluate the excerpts that go with that. So does lots of other things. You know, it has kappa analysis in the back, a way to start presenting your document, and we're happy to give a demonstration with the quant or the qual to reach out to Melissa or Ashley. So, and that also has 20 lessons. So you have a quant tool that helps folks kind of analyze and interpret the analysis with courses. You have a qual tool that can help kind of thematize or codify, I'll say. And you can use AI to create themes and then courses with that. So I think I'll just stop there. Any other final questions from anyone at all? I appreciate everyone kind of hanging in there with us.
Yeah, if there's additional questions, you can go ahead and put them in the Q&A right now. Also, Ashley's going to put her contact info in if you want a personalized demo, or if you have additional questions, just let her know.
Yep.
And we'll
Great.
send the recording out to everyone as well.
And I appreciate everyone with really great questions, allowing us to kind of play with your data. And so thank you for that. This is somebody else's data, but I should say faculty we give free help to. Students, just to know that there are consulting sessions that can be had to help them through, you know, some data management, selecting analysis, and interpreting the output. So just know that that's there as well. Faculty, it's on the house. And if there's no other quick questions, you know, I'll say thank you all for spending an hour with us. All right. With that, I wish everyone a great rest of the weekend. And again, thank you so much for attending. And do share it with others. You know, we have a tool, may not fit every use case, but it fits lots and lots of use cases, particularly for students and the courses. But people don't know about the quant and qual tools, the AI capabilities, the interpretation part of it. So I'd be grateful if you shared that with others to say, hey, there's some options out there that might complement Stata or complement SAS, but just let other people know. So with that, we appreciate everyone spending time with us. So thank you. Have a great rest of the week.